All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion
I'm
Stories.
up here.
I know, yeah. Well, Mikey will switch around. There you go.
Ah.
Mikey likes to be on top. Anyway, so
Damn it.
somebody looks like there you have a little less facial hair now, Mikey. Yeah. Summertime's coming.
The whole thing was just split ends. It was just like falling out. I was like, shave it, get the skin conditioned underneath, grow it back. Should take like a month. It is what it is. Hi, I'm a baby.
Anyway, let's see. Where are we here? All right. We're welcoming Answerman, who is with us for tonight's episode. Recommended to us by Joe, the Kentucky Atheist. So I reached out to. Is it okay if I use your actual name or?
Yeah, well, my first name.
Did in the description box. Yeah, that's all I used, anyways.
Yeah.
I reached out to Alex here and invited him to come on the show. As Joe said, you were a pretty good guy, and I finally took a look at your channel and dug a lot of stuff. You guys got to go check out. There's an episode there called "The Jesus Christ Experience," which is the total ripoff of the Joe Rogan Experience, and it's funny as shit. So you got to go check it out. I have his channel linked in the description box below for you. So you can definitely head over there and add some subs to his channel. He's very much under-subbed. He should be closer to where we are, if you ask me personally. Because the stuff you make is good, man. It's entertaining. It's good. You even put the Jesus wig on, and it's hilarious. Like it's
the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
I suffer from my art.
If there's costume work, that's definitely worth a sub.
It's itchy too, so it's not,
Please, guys, please help him stop with the itch. Buy him some itch cream. First of all, Alex, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What we do here on this Looney Tune channel is we chat with people about their journeys away from their previous belief systems. So we like to basically start out kind of knowing which branch of the belief system you were a part of, how things started. Yeah, which flavor and how the dominoes start falling, and you find your way free from your beliefs into atheism.
Just riff for a while, or you want to ask me questions?
Oh no! You tell the story. It's like an organic conversation, man. You tell the story. If we have questions, we'll be like, whoa, and we'll butt in and we'll ask you questions. Okay.
So I am Italian American, born in New York, and raised Roman Catholic. And
by the way, I'm a quarter Italian, if it helps.
Oh, okay. That's it's a strong. The Italian comes out.
Oh yeah. Italian and raised Jewish, so they all talk with their hands. So it's like
they all talk with their hands. Italians say "yo," the Jews say "oi." It's very similar.
Letters, right?
So raised Roman Catholic. My father was an atheist. He just didn't like to call himself an atheist because he hated liberals. So he called himself called himself a non-believer. But yeah, he never went to church. My mom was a pretty devout Catholic. My brother was in the priesthood for a while. He's 13 years older than me. He left my family when he was 13, when I was first born, and I got to know him visiting him at the Salesian seminary every month, like for a day, a month for my whole childhood. That's how I got to kind of know my older brother. My sisters, my mother, my grandmother, we would all go to mass every Sunday, and my dad would get to stay home and do whatever he wanted. And I always wondered why he got to do that, and I didn't get to do that. And he would explain that I needed church because it would teach me morals. And I would point out that he's moral and he doesn't go to church. And then he'd sort of like kick me in the ass, and I'd end up in church, So, my life I ended up at Catholic school because they didn't trust public schools. They thought Catholic school was safer, and the opposite is true, by the way.
I got to say, I don't know. I think your education system down there has failed many, many people down there.
Yeah, well, I'm considered one of the smart ones, so
Okay.
They take that for what it's worth. Yeah. So as a believer, like as a kid, the thing about the Roman Catholics is that they're not fundamentalists, right? They basically ignore the Old Testament like altogether because they just know it's insane and that like reasonable people will just not.
It's a book of genocide, is what it is. Genocide, incest, and who knows what else.
Yeah. So they basically just ignore that, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Catholic mass, being quarter Italian, but like they don't even have the Bible. Yeah. So you basically have a hymnal that they print out, and it's got like whatever songs you're going to sing, and then whatever letters from Paul you're going to read, because that's basically what it was. It was always Paul's letters, and that was kind of like my upbringing with religion. There was never any talk about like Moses or Adam and Eve or like the Book of Job. I didn't even know what that was growing up. So and then you would basically just sit through church, watch the clock, wait, do the kneeling and the standing and the sitting on cue.
Choreography.
Yeah.
I hate hearing my name as a verb too. Kneeling.
And I used to do the cheat where you didn't know if you were supposed to sit or kneel, so you'd put your ass on the bench and you'd kneel at the same time. So you would just sort of stay like that, for most of the
in purgatory.
It was an easier way to deal with it, and and that was kind of like my upbringing. I believed, but I was not raised by fundamentalists. So I never had the sort of conversion where I suddenly realized that it was, all false. Like I believed in evolution as a kid. Like my mother told me, that God just created through evolution. So it seemed fine to me.
Do you think that there was like a large percentage of people who were like young earthers, or they were just kind of like,
not in my community?
It's like billions. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
no. In growing up, where I grew up in New York, I mean, we learned evolution in school. There was no issue there. There was never any controversy there. In fact, I didn't even know anything about young earth creationism until I got into college, and I met other people from other parts of the country, and I would hear what they believed, and I'd just be like, oh my God, what
what a moron.
Really?
Really? You actually believe that?
Well, yeah. Do you believe in the three little pigs too? I mean, this is
and Santa.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was a little kid, I believed in Adam and Eve. When I believed in Santa, and then I realized soon after that that's not real. That's not a story to really concern yourself with. And the thing is that we never like really dwelled on like what original sin was and the whole like Jesus had to die because Adam and Eve like that. We just like liked Jesus. He was just like this cool guy that died for some reason to save us that we didn't really understand why, and we just accepted it, and that was essentially it. I mean, he died for our sins, and we were like, okay, whatever that means, And
wait, what sins?
Yeah, like but they really didn't drum that belief system into you. It was just more of a cultural, you go to church every Sunday, you help out. I was an altar boy for a little while, and that was kind of weird because I got to see the host in the big church. Doritos bag. You ever see like they, because when you're at church, they have this golden chalice with with the host in it, and it's on its own special little altar.
Is that the wine?
And there's this ceremony around it, and then you go backstage and you see it's like this big family size, bag of hosts, and you're like,
oh, is that
it takes all the mystique right out of it,
You're saying host because but that's an inside Catholic word. Is that the cracker?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the host.
Yeah, because I was raised like Baptist or whatever, so it was always like the body.
Well,
as
yeah,
opposed to
they
host.
do teach you that it is literally the body of Christ, that
Full
it actually
Eucharisty?
turns into the flesh, and the wine turns into the blood of Christ. But nobody believes them because it clearly doesn't. So
But why would they eat it if they thought that it did?
there's like this
That's cannibalistic.
it's this weird kind of zombie like thing that goes on in Catholicism. I don't know. I don't understand it. Even though they taught us that, no one really took them seriously, and it was never really bought into by, like, fundamentalism just never caught on in that way. So you go. I remember like our first communion, you had to rehearse how to take the host.
How to eat the body.
Yeah, they had to teach kids. Yeah, you had to practice, and so they would give you a host that wasn't blessed yet, so you could practice.
Oh, I see.
So you had to do the whole thing.
Wouldn't want you to be over blessed.
Yeah, and then you go and you go and they give you the host, and all the kids would be like, "Oh, what the hell is this? Is what Christ tastes like."
Expensive. Oh boy,
what's that? Is that your beeping?
Yeah, fire alarm probably.
Oh.
Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, I have a friend, Dr. Ben.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Decided that he was going to eat an entire bowl of those things with some wine, like you would cereal. Right? So it's like, yeah, he wasn't feeling too well after getting, I think, just a little.
Well, it's too much Christ, man.
He's been over Christ.
Yeah. So there for me the whole part about leaving Christianity, it wasn't. I didn't have I mean, there was a bit of a community thing going on where, because when you're Italian and Roman Catholic, and they do like in the basement of the church. The church was attached to the school, and then there was a basement where it had this giant kitchen, and my grandmother and my aunt and everybody from the community would go, and they'd make pasta, and you go, and that was like the community kind of a thing. You'd have these big meals. What was that comment about the cholesterol?
Oh, yeah, I'll pop it up there. Christ will make your cholesterol high.
Too much Christ. You have to cut down on the salt too.
Yeah.
But so there was that bit of community aspect to it, but it wasn't such a big deal to like leave the faith. Like when I went to college, I just started questioning the way most people do when you go to college, and you just slowly tell yourself, well, this doesn't make sense, and then you start thinking about like, well, if God's omniscient, well, how did he allow this to happen? He should have known that was going to happen. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? Right. I mean, if he, and you just start thinking about it, and you're like, well, this is obviously bullshit, and that's kind of where you just sort of like, it just sort of fades away. Yeah. And that's kind of how it happened for me. It just sort of faded away. And then after college, I was getting in debates with my brother about intelligent design. Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized, okay, there's a problem in this country. Yeah, that's when I saw it not as just like a harmless belief system, but that this is really problematic.
Yeah. That's
and
right,
it's something that has to be dealt with, because you can't have people just going around and becoming anti-science and not just anti-science, but anti-critical thought, not understanding how you prove something versus why like they don't the concept of faith. Like you shouldn't have to explain to a Christian what it means to have faith, but apparently you do. Apparently they think that they know and that they have proof, and they don't realize that they don't. And you have these weird debates with them trying to explain, look, it's called faith for a reason. It's
because it's not knowledge.
Yeah, it's not knowledge. You're choosing to believe something that you don't have proof for, and you would think that would be a pretty easy argument to win, but not when the people you're arguing with don't want to hear it and don't understand the nature of proof, and they don't make a distinction between belief and proof, and it's that's why I kind of what's that.
When they're actively fighting you, it's like, hey man, you're drowning in a lake. I'm going to start pulling you out of the lake. It's like, no, man, get your hands off of me. Get the life preserver off of me. It's like, but you're going underwater, sir. No,
so yeah. So like what I do, like my channel is more about just combating fundamentalist belief. And I do it in a way that just sort of pokes fun at it, because I got tired of trying to argue with these people. So I just I come up with skits and dialogue and things. I do a bit with where I'm interviewing God. I'm like God's therapist, and I call it God on the couch. And he comes to me, and he figures he kind of screwed up, and I'm trying to talk him through, all of his problems, and he doesn't. And the only way it makes sense is that God is kind of just like this all-powerful idiot. Like he doesn't understand, like he doesn't relate. He doesn't have any empathy. He doesn't relate. Like I go, you killed Job's children. And he goes, yeah, but I gave him new ones. And I'm like, but his original kids are still dead. And he goes, yeah, but the new ones kind of look like the old ones, like he doesn't get like what he's doing to people. And that's the only way. So it's kind of like an alternate apologetics kind of thing. It's just this, he's Donald Trump. He's basically this all-powerful guy, too much power and not enough brains, and I think that's why evangelicals like Donald Trump, because he's the God of the Old Testament. He's just this, this all-powerful idiot. And and then I do another bit where I actually try to make it so that God, what if God really was a good, loving God, but all of his prophets were idiots? So I do this thing where he tries to test Abraham by telling him to kill his kid, assuming that Abraham would immediately say no.
That's too far.
And Abraham's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, Lord. And he's like, no. He tries to teach Abraham how to think critically, and Abraham doesn't get it, And so I try to play around with like different ideas about God and faith as a result of all this, and come up with different scenarios to make a point, but to also have fun with it and help people sort of laugh about it.
Like when two kids are fighting over like a teddy bear, and he's like, all right, guess we're gonna have to cut the teddy bear in half, and the kids are like, yes, and they pull out their like axes, like, cut it in half, I want the top half. Like it's just like, that was not the lesson you were supposed to learn. Oh shit. Dissect the bear.
So as far as my deconversion goes, it wasn't, there are people I know that had trauma from their beliefs, and I wasn't one of those people. I just saw it as increasingly silly and just not believable. And the more I got into it with people that became like, more I got into it with true believers and fundamentals, the more absurd it became. And as a result, it's clearly not that. I know priests in New York that don't even believe in God. They're
Yeah, I know rabbis the same way.
Yeah, they're not the problem. They just see it as a cultural thing and a good way to live, and I don't really have a problem with the people like that, and so I concentrate on the fundamentalist aspect of it, and that's kind of where I am right now.
Very good
with the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you sound very quite similar. I mean, you wanted to believe at some point early on, and you probably did a little bit like me. And over
Yeah,
time,
when I
it
was
just sort of was like, no, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I remember believing when I was in high school for a time, but it never really, there's always that nagging kind of, but it's bullshit, like in the back of your head, like
Yeah.
you think you should believe, you think it's, there might be something to it, but in the back of your mind, you're just always going, nah, that's bullshit, isn't it? Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the nuns in Catholic school don't do the religion any favor either. I don't know if you've ever been taught by nuns, but
No.
good.
Came close once, but no.
Yeah, they are very militant. They punish, like they do group punishment. So like if somebody did something during the day and they don't know who did it, they would punish everybody.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because
one
that's
bad
what
apple
Christ would
spoils
do,
the
I
bunch.
guess. I don't know.
Train of thought.
Collective
Yeah.
punishment.
So so that also was a big turnoff as far as the cultural aspect of Christianity or Catholicism. I never had to deal with like any funny business with a priest. That never happened.
That's good.
The priests actually were pretty cool. They were, we had the reverend of my church had, I think, some kind of a throat, maybe he had throat cancer or something. He had something removed, and as a result, he had this voice that really reverberated. And we used to, and in the church where there's echo automatically, from the, and he would speak. You would think, well, that's probably what God sounds like. He had this deep resound,
voice.
Resonating voice. But he was a really nice old guy. He was someone that everybody kind of looked up to and respected. So there was really none of that growing up, which I'm thankful for. And the nuns used to abuse the kids. Like sometimes you'd be in class, and all of a sudden you'd be taking a test or something, and the nun would say, "Okay, everybody, put your pencils down and face front." And you'd put your pencil down, you face front, and there'd be a kid from another class standing in front of you with like a lifesaver on his nose, right? Because he got caught eating candy, and now he has to go to every classroom and stand there and be humiliated.
Like I couldn't do that as a punishment. I'd be like, that lifesaver is not going to last very long.
Have you had them before? This is not a big deal.
Nom, 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 nom. That's not going to last very long, especially if it's rum butter or whatever that.
Oh, butter rum, yeah. Where I was born, the original Lifesavers factory it was from, and when I was a kid, the air used to, huh?
It's not the kid's fault. I mean, they're like falling out of trucks everywhere in New York. Of course, he had a lifesaver. All of the kids had.
The air would smell like butter rum sometimes. Yeah.
Bag up some of that air.
That was always my favorite one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you have any questions for me, or?
I do.
Okay.
So it sounds like the guilt was like heavy, because like nuns almost immediately imply guilt to me. So did you ever get on the wrong end of a ruler? Or were you just kind of like, I'm gonna keep my nose down? Or okay,
yeah, I got picked up by my hair. That's why I'm like, I shaved it all off.
So
they would literally
have no more of that.
I remember one time we were taking a test, and my pencil lead broke. Right, so I got up, and there was a pencil sharpener in the front of the class. So I got up and started, and I got picked up by my hair because I didn't ask for permission. First. They would like throw kids in closets.
What?
I mean, this was
like Matilda,
like Sybil kind of shit, I mean,
fuck! Going in the hole.
Yeah, exactly. They had. I heard this phrase actually. I don't know if you watch the show Everyone Loves Raymond. where he refers one time to the Gymnasium. You know, you're familiar with that? That's I thought my school was the only one that had that. It's a gymnasium that has a stage, and then sometimes they put lunch tables out, and you'd eat your lunch there.
The lunch tables would be like
cafetorium.
The lunch tables would fold up, and then and then they had wheels, and you could push them up against the wall. And it's like, all right,
and you stack all the chairs. Yeah. And the basketball nets were on like pulleys, and they would raise up. Yeah. So in my school, they decided to let all the kids have lunch together, but they also decided that there should be no talking.
Oh my!
What?
What is the this is to teach the kids, hey, shut up.
And if you got caught talking, they would take your lunch away from you, and then you'd have to sit on the stage in silence.
And watch everyone else eat.
Watch everyone else eat in silence because, you know, you're the example now. And that was really an issue. In fact, I got so like traumatized by the nuns that I, you know, would beg my mother to take me out of Catholic school because it wasn't the church, it wasn't the religion, it was just the behavior of these little Nazis. You know, they were just awful. And I would go home and I'd tell my mother, you know, they abuse you. Did she pick me up by my hair? You know, she puts kids in the closet, and my mother would just say, "Oh, you're exaggerating. You know, if you did something wrong, you probably did something wrong. You probably deserved it." And then one night, my mom went to like a parent-teachers thing, and one of the other parents came up to my mom and said, "You know, my daughter comes home every once in a while and talks about how the nuns abuse your child."
Oh, you're his kid. You're his mom. Oh, yeah.
And so when my mom heard that, she took me out and put me in public school. So I got out that way, you know. So
that's
thanks
the boy with the devil inside.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So that was my experience with Catholicism. The other traumatic thing, well, it wasn't traumatic, but the other thing was confession. You know, confession was always really weird when you had to go and talk to some guy in a darkly lit cabinet, you know, and confess your sins, you know.
Putting it that way just makes it even way more creepier.
It's like a little haunted wardrobe in the back of the church.
Yeah.
And there's a little man in one side of it, you know, and you got to go in the other side and talk to him through a screen and tell him all the bad things you did. And you're like, I don't even know this man. Why, you know?
It could be anybody in there.
Yeah. And when you're a kid and you're going through puberty, it's like, you're not going to, what are you going to confess? You know, you got like one sin, right? And it's like, and you
sin every week.
And it's the same. Yeah. It's like, and I never confessed it because I figured he'd just think I was a pervert, you know? So I just played the odds. I figured as long as I confess before I die, you know, at some point in my life. So I at least to picture myself as like an old man, you know, on my deathbed, and then I call a priest over and I go, I used to jerk off a lot, you know, and then he would forgive me. I'd be good to go. You know?
I have 8,000 sins to report. They're a little delinquent.
Yes, Father, I have a masturbation problem. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it right now.
Right.
It's a current problem. Still working on it.
I'm almost there.
Well, that's one way to get out of the church.
Yeah. Please don't come back, young man.
Yeah, there's a restraining order on you, sir. So I'm going to need you to not come back on the property.
All right, no problem, Father. You got a wet nap by any chance?
So that was, you know, there was that, and then I was, you know, an altar boy for a while, as sort of. My mom made a deal with the principal of the Catholic school. That I could leave. Like all my mother had to do was take me out of school, right? But she felt like she needed to make a deal, so she's like, "Okay, I'll make him an altar boy." And then so I had to be an altar boy. That was my get out of Catholic school deal, you know. So I had to be an altar boy on
Sure. Don't worry, I am too.
And we're done here. Let me out. How do I get out of this thing? The door's locked. The door's locked from the outside. Hello, somebody let me out of here.
Gold, Jerry. That's gold.
So,
and also, like,
yeah,
you know the guy. Like, I think the original confession box was supposed to be like, oh, it could be anyone back there. So I can really bare my soul. Like, like you could hear it from the jingle of his keys. It's like, oh, that's Father so and so. Like, the guy who's in the box, right. So it's not really anonymous now because it's him.
Yeah, and they know you by name, so it's like you're there and you're like, Father, I did, and they're like, what'd you do that for, Alex? And you're like, oh,
well, my Fourth Amendment's gone, so I mean, I don't know. You got a warrant, Father, for all of my papers that you're trying to
so
all my business. Did you ever fall asleep as an altar boy?
No, but I used to miss my cues all the time. You're supposed to ring the bell when he picks up and I would be like, spacing out,
daydreaming.
Yeah.
And then the bells came from heaven. And then the bells came. Shit.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And I think you had to help. You had to help with communion. You had to hold the spit tray under the throat of the people when they took the.
What?
So like,
wait, what? What the fuck is a spit tray?
It looks like a ping pong paddle, but it's made out of gold. And you would hold it under the person's chin. I guess if they accidentally dropped the host, it wouldn't fall on the ground. I don't know. I don't know what it was for. They, Catholics are.
Were those made by Hostess by any chance?
I think Doritos.
Man, you want to talk about missed marketing opportunity? Every Easter they could have like bitter herb, or they could do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
They do that on Passover. They get the bitter herb on Passover.
Damn, I missed.
Yeah, but that's that red horseradish. They call it Jewish Dristan, basically, because it clears your sinuses. Just like that.
It's like wasabi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me get some of that next time I get an upper respiratory infection. I'll be. Give me a taste.
No, don't put it up your nose. That's just you're gonna die if you do.
Your eyes will pop out of your head. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm trying to be.
I like it when my eyes hang out to the on the optic nerve. That's great.
Look at my shoes. And
I should probably clean that shoe.
Yeah, they did another thing they did this thing where they bless your throat with a candle. There's a
okay, that sounds like a metaphor to me.
Well, no, there's a saint. I forget the name, and they get these two candles and they make like an X with the two candles and they tie it with like fabric. And it's so you don't choke on like a chicken bone or something. It's literally like to protect you from choking to death when you eat. And you'd go up like you were going for communion, and they bless your neck with these candles. Yeah,
did everybody get it?
What's that?
Did they do it for everybody, or just like
the
guy who clearly is about to go eat some goddamn chicken?
They would do it once a year, I think, on this saint's anniversary. Does anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about?
My Google foo is strong.
It's a new one for me.
I
once knew a joke about nuns and candlesticks, but that's a whole other thing.
Saint Blaise.
Yeah, well, the Catholics are big on saints. They like
Saint Swallow.
The patron saint of throat ailments and choking is Saint Blaise, a 4th century bishop and physician who was martyred in Sebastia, Armenia. He is known for saving a boy who was choking on a fishbone.
Fishbone. There you go.
Saint Gag Reflex.
There you go. Fishbone. So you don't choke on a fishbone.
Good old Blaze holding it down.
They have saints for everything. They have saints like when you lose your car keys. They have, you don't waste God's
Saint
time, or
Volkswagen.
Jesus's time. You go to the saints when you can't find your car keys. You don't want to interrupt God.
Yeah.
Saint
He's very
Heimlich.
busy.
Saint Heimlich. There you go. That's the good one.
Saint Heimlich is good.
I forget who did you pray to when you couldn't find stuff? There was a saint for that. And then there's a saint you're supposed to put like on your dashboard in your car, and he makes sure you don't get in. I don't know where Italians come up with this.
Saint Anthony of Padua is the patron saint of lost things. Padua.
Of lost things. And yeah, Saint Anthony. You got to. That's it. My grandmother used to say, "Let's pray to Saint Anthony," and it would be in the couch cushion. Saint Anthony, but it's in the couch cushion.
Yeah.
Well, modern Catholics can just pray to J.D. Vance now. Get it? Couches. Get it? Because he's a pervert and nasty, and I hate him.
Oh God!
Yeah,
friggin' government, man! Now you ruined my night. You got to make me remember where I live.
Thanks for reminding me of my residence, jerk. I know.
Oh, yes.
Neil's lucky. He's in Canada. So.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be lucky for long.
Yeah.
He's going to be part of. You guys really should consider becoming a state, because we'll never have another Republican president if you guys become our 51st state. You'd be the biggest state in the union. You'll be the most liberal state in the union, and we'll never have to worry about this anymore.
You could help us win the election and then kick yourselves out. And he's like, okay, we're going back to what we were doing before.
Yeah.
Help us.
But you guys can keep Alberta.
No, we're sorry.
You don't really like healthcare anyway, right? I mean, that's not that big
who
a
needs
deal.
healthcare?
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, I really feel like paying $100,000 for the CT scan I'm getting next weekend.
Yeah. That's what we do here.
They got us on YouTube with flashlights and car batteries trying to do our own at-home CTs because we can't afford to go in. I got an LED strip that I think I'm going to swallow. Right, turn it on, swallow it, and then turn the lights off.
Put the radioactive material really close to you, and it'll get the image that you're looking for.
Yeah, I just got it going up against some butcher paper, so hopefully the image goes through.
You can just Google it.
Yeah,
these things aren't complicated.
No, of course.
So
I got to go in for those next Friday, I think.
Oh, really?
Yep. Just I was without a doctor for a couple of years, and I finally got a new doctor, a nurse practitioner. But so I finally have someone again, and she wanted me to get a CAT scan. I'm a smoker, so. Oh, sorry. Oh. So it's the 28th I go in for the CT scan. So yeah, which is good. Thank goodness it's payday. I mean, we don't have to pay.
Literally
you go in and you don't pay nothing.
It costs you nothing, right?
Well, everybody pays for medical, but it's just a little bit that comes off your check every payday, right?
It's like a tax.
Kind of, yeah, same idea.
Yeah.
They pay like 3% more tax than us, and all of them have health care. It's the most embarrassing thing that I like. I hate it.
What drives me crazy is trying to
pay
explain
too if you want expedited things as well. Yeah. Sometimes you have to wait for scans, right.
So you could pay to skip the line.
Yeah, there are private practices that you can go and pay, and it's not as expensive as it is down there. Yeah. You can go and pay, and you don't have to worry about waiting for your scan. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll wait, and then you can go in and get it done right away if you want. So we have both options.
I had a friend who was from Jersey, and his wife is Italian, and he's in Italy now, and he had cancer, and but they all free, man. They took care of him. He's clean now. He's doesn't have to do any treatments, and I mean, that down here, man, that's $100,000.
Yeah.
Two of my friends that live in this building have the same thing. They both had, I think, colon cancer or something like that. And anyway, it was caught early, and it was taken care of, and they just have to go back every 5 years to have a checkup. All free.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, man. and we don't have that. And it's really infuriating to try to explain to Americans that if you're paying higher tax, it's this, you're paying over $1,000 a month for the insurance company. So
your taxes aren't going to go up
it's
$1,000 a month.
It's still coming out of your pocket, and they just want to call it socialism and put their fingers in their ears.
Yeah, they don't understand what actual socialism is, so they can call it whatever the fuck they want.
No, they don't. They just say words.
Yeah.
Up in Canada, we are a social democracy. So
We're supposed to be too. I mean, don't say that out loud, but we're supposed to be too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Social Security.
We just had a prime minister switch yesterday, I think. Mark Carney was sworn in as prime minister for the remainder of the term until the election.
Nice.
And every conservative that I know around here is like, fuck that, I didn't vote for him. You don't vote. The party votes for the new leader, and that leader is the new acting prime minister who was already elected. And then you go to the next election and then you vote. You don't vote for your prime minister. You vote for whatever party.
Wait, you're saying your fellow Canadians don't know this?
No.
There must be transplants from America.
Maybe.
They're mostly in Alberta.
So what's the deal with Alberta?
I know some people here right here.
Is Alberta like your Alabama?
Texas.
It's like our Texas.
Uh-huh.
They're the oil one. They got all the fracking,
Okay.
and they have the stupidest premier for their province.
Okay. So
whatever
that's
the hell
where all
her
your
name is.
conservatives live?
Where's your
That's
potash?
Okay.
Ontario mostly, I think. Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, maybe a little bit. We have a huge amount of potash up here.
Yeah.
I did some digging. Can't see what I did there. Digging because it might
potash in my ashtray over there from all the joints I smoked.
No, not that potash. But up there was there used to be an inland sea, like millions and millions and millions of years ago. So that's where you guys got all that cool chemistry going on up there. It was like a beach.
Yep.
That dried out, and then all
that's left is the Hudson Bay now.
Yeah, and then the Central Plains raised up. I didn't realize Chicago. I'm in Chicago. We're 500 feet above sea level.
Oh,
I don't feel up high, but apparently we have been getting pushed towards the sky for a long time. There you go, PC.
Yeah, I'm actually below sea level. When we had when Sandy hit, we got flooded out, man. I live on the 21st floor of my building, and the water was so high it came into all the buildings, flooded them all out. All the elevators stopped working, and I had to hike up and down 21 flights for.
Yay!
Oh yeah.
And I'm ripped now, baby.
Yeah.
Leg day.
Yeah. That was rough.
Someone throw a rope out the window and I will pulley myself up here.
Yeah. There was, it was the surge after the storm. Everything stopped and you thought, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. And then all of a sudden I started hearing all these car alarms. And I opened my window and I looked out, and the water, you could see the water rising. And these cars, they're programmed when they hit the water that their trunks and their hoods and everything open up, and their headlights go on, and they look like they were screaming. They're just and they were everywhere. Just all these cars just screaming everywhere, drowning. It was pretty intense, man.
It's funny, but it sucks at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive to clean your car after it's been underwater.
Oh, God. I mean, we were a mess for a while. It was not easy getting food, not easy doing, I'd leave the apartment once a week because I didn't want to go downstairs.
No door dashers on little rowboats or anything like that.
No.
They got jet skis.
Yeah.
I mean, the rowboat guy, he'll get there, but I need the zippy kid with the wave runner, just going up through the burrows.
Or one of those, they look like F1 racers, but for the water. You need one of those.
Oh, those
the jet boats. Oh.
Dude, there's no amount of money you could pay me.
I'd like to order. Wait a minute, he's at my door already.
I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what I want.
You know what I just saw today for the first time was an Uber robot. Do you guys have?
Oh yeah. We haven't seen them here, but I've seen them.
Yeah, they have eyes. They have big headlight eyes, and they just do their own thing. They go down the street, and if you're walking by them, they'll stop and they'll wait for you, and then they'll proceed. It's like this overgrown dog that's like just like walking down the street, and they just react to you. It's really kind of wild it's like it almost feels like it's a living thing because it sees you and it stops, and you're like, okay, what is it going to do? Is it going to?
I'm not going to front.
Is it going to jump me? Is it waiting? Is this a friendly robot?
Is this robot racist?
Just noticed this.
Sure, he sure does.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If I ever saw one of them bad boys coming down the sidewalk, I'm grabbing a nickel or something, and I'm high centering it so it gets stuck. Like I don't care if the food is in there. I don't trust the machines. I think the Terminator was a documentary from the future trying to warn us, and I'm not going to let you just like integrate into society so that you can lower.
So you haven't seen them in your area yet, right? You haven't.
No, I'm in the suburbs.
Them.
We would just kick that thing into a lake somewhere and just be like, what the hell? This damn robot! Get this robot out of here.
Robot?
Does it have a catalytic converter? If not, it's going in the lake.
Sounds like your cars are screaming again.
Oh, that's just every night.
It's just all the time, every day.
That's my 2-year-old.
It's life in the city, man. This is actually a quiet night. I mean, there are times because I got the window open. There are times I can't open the window because it's so noisy. And a lot of times they're coming to this building.
Oh, jeez. we got a building down the street from us that gets a lot of the New West police come in there and
we get a lot of fire alarms. There's like people that throw like stuff down the garbage chute that like ignites and and it used to be that the whole building had to empty out. So now they at least got everything kind of cordoned off. So like one floor will get the alert and they'll have to leave. But it happens a lot. You get fire engines in the front all the time. So it's like only this building. I don't know why.
Which borough are you in, and how? And have you always lived in New York?
Well, I'm in Jersey now. I'm
in
North Jersey, in Jersey City. But I was born in Westchester, and then I moved briefly to Hoboken, New Jersey, when I was in college. Then I went back to Manhattan. Back to New York into Manhattan. Lived there for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years. Ended up in Brooklyn for a while, and then came back to Jersey City. So the tri-state area is my home.
Because there's a lot of Canadians and a lot of Midwesterners over here. What's something about New York, like if they're gonna go, or like tell them something that they don't know about the city,
About Manhattan?
About New York in general, in the tri-state area. Like what's something that they probably assume is true?
Well, like Jersey City is probably, I think, the most diverse city in the country. We've got like a real mix of different people here, which is kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and it's come around. It's also the most expensive city to live in. I think it's more expensive than Manhattan at this point, which is crazy because it doesn't have what Manhattan has to offer.
Right.
But there's a lot of construction here, a lot of 40-story towers going up. But I don't know what people don't know about the New York area. It's more dangerous now than it has been in a while. There's that. But
it's do that.
Yeah, well, since COVID, really, it's
Jersey City isn't all Guidos.
That's not my word. I don't say that word. That's the G word.
Jersey City isn't all Guidos. No, it's not all Guidos. No, I'm the only Guido here.
And I'm only a quarter Guido.
Yeah. I'm Guido on my mother's side.
Yeah, there you go. No, it'd be my dad's side, actually. My dad's father was Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, we did our 23 and me.
Right.
We did our 23 and me and my wife did our 23 and me, and she's got some Italian. So we're like, let's look up where you're from. It was like, can we like call and get like a family discount? Because it's like, are you listening over there? Hey, baby, where's your family from in Italy? What did 23 and me say?
In Italy. Ooh.
She's not listening now. But it's like not Catalonia. It's Calabria.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
My mother's her family's from Calabria.
Yeah. I looked at the pictures on there. I was like, oh my God, look at the cliffs and the blue water. I was like, can we sneak in there? Like,
have you ever been?
No, I've been to Italy, but not there.
Oh,
I was in Venice. Well, it was a much different experience.
Yeah. Everywhere in Italy is kind of beautiful. I mean, if you go to Europe, it's just, and you compare, like, that's the thing, man. You so come to like Jersey City, and you know, there's cool people here, but it's not a pretty place. You know, Europe has the beauty. You know, I mean,
all the buildings are like 600 years old, and everything's
but they're
got like
gorgeous.
A story, and and they look amazing.
Yeah,
like someone gave a shit about what it looked like on the outside.
Yeah, they're beautiful. The people are crazy, but in a great way, and you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's hot as hell in the summer now. I mean, unfortunately, it's the global
Mediterranean. Of course, it is.
But I mean, it's like hot as hell now. I mean, it used to be like when I first went to Italy, because I'm Italian, 100% Italian, you know, that's just been relocated here. And I'm always like uncomfortable. Like I perspire too much in the summer. It's too humid here. And when I went to Italy, it was in the summer and I was fine. It's like this is my climate. This is what my skin is built for, you know, but now you go there and it's just intense heat.
As a black man, the amount of lotion I have to buy for this dry ass Midwestern climate is just not fair. It's like a tax on looking young.
Yeah.
Hey, Theo.
Yeah, you're in the wrong climate for sure.
Yes.
But I need to be in the Mediterranean. I'm very uncomfortable here. Physically.
Sorry, I hope we weren't causing that. Okay, good.
You know,
we try to make our guests feel comfortable and welcome.
Yeah, well,
usually
I'm okay. I'm okay now.
Yeah. It was rough in the beginning, and I will say I didn't get a chance because I don't want to interrupt the show or whatever. I will apologize for my tardiness. Answerman, if you're going to be in the after party, it's the baby girl's birthday, so we went to go buy her some toys and some clothes. I'll tell you guys all about it.
That's a good.
It
did
not go well.
Oh,
and this is why I stay in the house forever.
Oh, that's very well. So happy birthday from me.
She's a whole 2 years old.
Oh, she's at that phase, the terrible twos.
Yeah, that's a fun age, from what I hear.
Yeah,
I think they call it the terrible twos.
Yeah, she's a real piece of work right now. A real piece of work. She's so sweet, and then not.
Yeah,
at all.
It's like a cat.
Pet me one too many times.
Yeah.
You didn't need that skin, did you?
And that's when they learn how to say no.
Yeah. And even the pets are starting to give her a wide berth, like, weigh my options.
Shit, here she comes.
Act like a statue.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to do that.
Her vision is based on movement.
All right. Well, Alex, I think we're pretty much closing in on the hour, the typical hour that we do.
Well, I had a lot of fun talking to you guys.
Well, I'm glad you did. We had fun too. We try to make these, it's not always easy because there are a lot of heavy stories that we hear here. But we always try to add a little levity to it, and usually it helps people feel a little bit better,
Right.
Because we can touch on things that kind of brings up old memories that can hurt a lot. So
right.
we try to bring some levity so that it's a little less painful for our guests.
Right.
Now we do an after party, and you said you'll stick in for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's an East Coaster, a guy, so it's late for him. So we're going to stick around for 10, 15 minutes so you can meet some of our friends. Yeah, me too. Alex and I are not that far apart. I'm 2 years younger than him, so.
I aged about 10 years today inside that goddamn Walmart.
We'll hear all about Mikey's afternoon in the after party. So if you guys want, you can stick around. There's a link below for the after party. We'll take a bit of a break between the two shows. We'll probably get it going at about 6:30 Pacific time. So click that link and go hang out in the chat there and talk to each other. And we'll see you shortly. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and also for becoming a member of the channel. There's lots of ways you can help out the channel. That's one of them. You can also make little donations through our PayPal link there, and every little bit helps. So thanks everybody for hanging out and for being part of our little world here. Like I said before, the description box, so find Alex's channel down there as well, and I highly recommend you go check it out. It's very fun.
Yeah, come and laugh.
I was laughing a lot today when I was looking at some of that stuff. So it's very funny stuff. And until then, guys, like we already mentioned here in the show at some point earlier, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thank you.